It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! It is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, all dripped out over here, as the kids say today. Drip, drip. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my guy? You know what I'm saying? I've been watching Brad Holmes' video from the draft. A lot of drip he's been doing lately with his interviews as well. I say, you know what? Brad set the tone. I say, spring's coming tomorrow. I'm going to start today, baby. I'm dripped out in honor of Brad Holmes.
No doubt about it. Tom Mazawey. Hey, good afternoon, my friend.
Hey, guys. What'd you say? Spring is coming tomorrow?
It's coming tomorrow, baby.
What do you mean?
It's coming tomorrow. Tomorrow, according to our guy, Derek Kevler, spring starts tomorrow, baby. It'll be the last day of weather descending past 60 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even average temperature. We're well below the average
temperature. It's horrible.
We've been trying for the last week to get to this Thursday, and Kevra always talked about May the 4th. May the 4th is the day that everything is going to turn.
We're going to have to hear May the 4th be with you, though.
I hate that.
I hate that.
I hate that. And
May the 4th be with you.
And I think I hate that because I'm not a big Star Wars guy.
Neither
I've
am I.
never seen Star Wars in my life.
Good for you.
I have never in my life ever seen Star Wars, Star Trek, or any other Star Wars.
Blasphemous. That's blasphemous.
Yeah.
I've seen them all. It's blasphemous.
It's like when the Tigers have like Star Wars night. I'm like, you got all these grown people walking around and Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, whatever the guy's name is, little Ewok or whatever.
But it's cool, though. It's just like watching the Stormtrooper in Michigan Stadium, watching him flying around the Stormtrooper with the Michigan on his chest. That's dope.
Different.
Oh, it's different. Oh, that's different. I was watching my favorite show, my second favorite show, Succession's #1. Ted Lasso's #2. Ted Lasso had a scene. They had a thing in the locker room where someone's photo was leaked. It was a video of, I guess, a person that does PR for the team in the Premier League, West Ham, if you will. Who's at fault when videos and photos get leaked? Is it the person that sends it, or is it the person that leaked it? Who's at fault in that situation?
The person that took it to begin with.
Because that's what the guys on the soccer team, obviously, you know, Ted Lasso, it's about their soccer team over there with Jason Sudeikis. It's a great show. It's really dope. The guys are arguing in the locker room on who's at fault. Is it the person that leaks the photo or hacks the photo, then leaks it? Or is it the person that took the photo or the video in the first place?
I think it's the person that actually puts it in the public sphere.
Okay.
That's who I would consider a leaker. And I had mentioned today on the Fox 2 show, the 9. That is one word I cannot say in a serious news story is leaker. I can't. And we use it so regularly now.
You use the word leaker?
Leaker. That is the official term
Right.
for somebody that leaks classified material, private material.
I would just call them the person that leaked it.
Like a Julian Assange type person.
Yeah.
You know, he's a leaker.
Okay.
You know, Edward Snowden is a leaker.
All right.
If I see in the teleprompter whistleblower,
That's
leaker,
funny too. So who's the in trouble in this sense? Is it the leaker?
It's the leaker.
It's the leaker.
It is the leaker.
What about you, Maz? Is it the leaker or is it the person
I think it's the guy that
creates the video?
The person that takes it. Look, if you're taking a video of yourself, you know there's a pretty good chance that someone is going to be able to wrangle that. If you send it to one person,
right,
there's going to be that chance that person is going to show somebody else that picture and then talk them into, come on, just send it to me. I'm just going to keep it myself. One of those things. So if you're taking the picture,
right,
you're asking for trouble.
Chat, want you guys to get in on this too. Want you to comment in chat. Which one do you think? Who's responsible? Is it the person that takes the video or the picture, or is it the individual that hacks it and leaks it out? JBU, you give me a thought on this.
I'm gonna go with the leaker on
the
this
leaker.
One.
Yeah.
Just because you took this photo or this video and this is personal and private to you, someone's going or hacking into your phone and spreading it out for the whole world if you didn't decide to share it. So I gotta go with the leaker on this one.
Flex, might as well get you in on this too, buddy. The leaker or the person that takes the video?
No, neither of them. It's the person that has that information. If you don't want something getting out there, don't be doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing.
Look at Fletch.
So
being all reasonable.
So that's why I asked the
That's
question.
exactly what I said.
But see, that's why I asked the question.
He said it better, maybe.
Yeah,
He
probably.
did. He eloquated a lot better. I'm just joking, man. But that's why I asked the question, because I would think that it would be the person that hacks in, the person that invades the privacy, the person that leaks it. But it had a lot of people that feel the same way as Fletch. Like, if you don't want something to potentially be out there, don't potentially do something that could get out there. So I just thought it was very interesting. I'm on the side of the leaker, because people can hack through stuff, send stuff out. You don't know if you sent somebody something that you love or whatever, and the intent was good, and somebody hacks it. So I side with the leaker, but there was a lot of people on Fletcher's side was like, you don't want stuff out there, then don't do stuff.
No doubt about it. Speaking of doing stuff, tonight, what's tonight? Wednesday?
It is.
Now, when's your bowling league start, Maz?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. That's right. We talked about that. I wanted to make sure we really
Tuesday.
highlight that.
That's right.
Because it's a big night with all the turkeys and the 4-baggers and all this other
Did you
stuff.
knock it off, man?
I love the golf, not the golf,
It's wrong
the
sport.
bowling terminology.
You got it, brother.
I just want to be
I
a
got
bowler
you.
in my life.
I
Speaking
want
of
to make
golf.
you a bowler.
Speaking of golf, the Forbes tops, the sports, the sports top 10 Forbes in the country came out. Some golfers are up there. 6 and 7. You have Dustin Johnson at 6, and then Phil Mickelson at 7.
Talking about highest paid?
Highest paid professional athletes.
Wow.
You got Phil Mickelson's $106 million last year. You raked in. Dustin Johnson at $109.
Yeah, but
He's
most of that
6.
salary.
You said what?
Most of that salary
100%.
from the Live.
Well, yeah, you know whose all salary is Messi and Ronaldo. They were at 136 and 133 million.
Did you see Tiger Woods?
LeBron was 119.
Tiger Woods' longtime caddy has
Which
left
one?
his
He's
bag.
had a couple.
Well, he's had the guy Joe, whatever
older
his name
dude,
is,
they
for the
smoked
past 12
cigarettes,
years.
yeah.
Anyway, he politely, Tiger said, "Go ahead, Joe. I want you to go and be with a guy that's going to golf." He went to Patrick Cantlay, number 4 in the world. He left Tiger's bag after 12 years with Tiger Woods, and that just tells you Tiger knows he's only going to play here and there.
Yeah, and he should, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he just could barely walk on the course.
I know.
Speaking of athletes and the amount of money they make, did you see what Clark Hunt said about Patrick Mahomes?
I did.
That he's always underpaid.
Yeah, that no matter how much money Patrick Mahomes makes, he will always be underpaid for what he not only does for the Kansas City Chiefs, but in the NFL. You know, when he signed a 10-year, $450 million deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, you thought that was the biggest thing you'd ever seen in your life. What?
Well, not me, just the years, the 10 for me. Like that was like, that's just basically $45 million. I'm like, Kirk Cousins makes that now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, the 10 years, $450 million looked big at the time in the grand scheme of things, but now you look, that's $45 million a year. Lamar Jackson's making $52 million a year. So Clark Hunt said, yeah, we are going to look at opening up this contract and trying to give him more money. And I think this is going to be the start. And I could be wrong on this, but I do believe that Patrick Mahomes will be the first player in sports to not only get a salary, but get a percentage of the salary cap. That no matter how much money you make now, you will always get, because the salary cap is going to continue to go up, you will always get 25% of our
cost of living increase.
Cost of living increase. Yep. The 25% of our cap will always go to you. And I think that is how you continue to elevate him and pay him, and maybe even give him a piece of the ownership pie. And I don't know if that's how probable or possible that is.
Why not?
Well, I'm just because people aren't giving away pieces of ownership. I'm just saying if there was ever that to happen, he would be the athlete to do it with.
The Denver Broncos tried to give John Elway ownership. They tried to give him ownership. They owed him $20 million. Maz, you know the story. They owed him $20 million. They tried to give him a stake in the team. They tried to give him a stake in the team. So I agree with you 100%.
After his playing days, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to your point, I agree with you. And I said, why not? When you look at what he's done, teams go up in value. 150 million per win, per championship win. Teams go up $150 million. They've gotten 2. And they've gotten 2 because of him. And every year people are talking about the Kansas City Chiefs because of him. He deserves everything that they will do for him. But the interesting thing about that is how it happened for him. The Chiefs were already successful when he becomes the quarterback. Then in year 3, they win the Super Bowl for him. So it's much easier for them to slate deals based on the success that they've already had. Guys that come in and have success early, kind of like a Lamar Jackson, kind of like a
Jalen Hurts,
or Josh Allen, but they're not winning per se. They didn't win the Super Bowl. It's going to be much harder to get these type of favorable deals when you don't have that type of success early that Mahomes has had. He's 5 years in. Look at the stats. Look at the numbers. Look at the championships. Look at what he's accomplished. That's why you can make those type of deals with players like that. But if you ain't winning championships in the first 5 years, you're not winning MVPs. It's hard for me to even consider that whatever you call it, that you're proposal.
Yeah. And let's face it, too, no matter how good, and we sit here and talk about how great the AFC is almost daily when we talk about football, Kansas City Chiefs are the clear favorite there, I think. I mean,
they are.
Kansas City's here, and I think I would go Cincinnati here, and then everybody else below that.
No, it's closer than that.
Well, you get the picture, though. I mean, Kansas City is the clear favorite to me in the AFC.
Outside of Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and I guess maybe I don't even think this was said about Joe Montana. Now, I could be wrong. Older people tell me if I'm wrong or not. There's never been said about a quarterback that as long as he's on the team, like, you're probably going to win. It's not one of those things where as long as he's on the team, you got a shot. As long as Peyton Manning's on the team, you got a shot. As long as Brett Favre's on the team, you got a shot. Drew Brees, you got a shot. Tom Brady, your quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, your quarterback. You are going to be the favorite every year. He deserves as much money as they can give him and as much money as the open market willing to pay in sponsorships.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Guys, subscribe to Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Coming up on 43,000 subscribers, and maybe we can even get there today. Tell a friend to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. It would be phenomenal if we could do that within our 2-hour show here. We are less than 100 subscribers away from hitting 43,000. Also, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to over 50 likes by the end of this segment, which we are at right now. WoodwardSports.com for all the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise as well. Guys, Dan Miller from Fox 2 and, of course, voice of the Lions, he's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll talk about the draft, the clear choices, it seems, that Brad Holmes has made for this football team. We'll talk to him, get his take on that. We'll have a little fun as well today. Guess the schedule.
It's a debut.
Absolutely, the debut of Guess the Schedule, which comes out next week. But coming up next, we're going to take a look at the winners and losers from the NFL draft, and you're going to be surprised by one of those teams on the winners side of that. What a clear indication of how far this franchise has moved just in the past couple of years. Let's take a break, get to a message from Alta.
At Alta, uptime matters. At Alta Equipment, they got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Lots of football to discuss. And again, we mentioned this yesterday a little bit too. The NFL is just so... what's the word I'm looking for?
The king?
The king, but they get it, man. Yeah. The way they sprinkle all of these different events out, whether it's a schedule release next week, from the draft, from the OTAs to the owners' meetings to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's so well laid out now. Free agency is a big kind of thing to always keep the NFL in the forefront of the American sports fan. Let me get to this. This was a tweet by Ryan Field of ABC in New York, formerly here of Fox Sports Detroit and Fox 2.
Oh, good buddy.
Yeah. So this is Next Gen Stats. Okay? Best drafts. Overall, best drafts of the top 7 picks. The Detroit Lions ranked first on this list. It gives a percentage, however they grade it. I don't need to get into the minutia.
Yeah, but these are the real deal, next gen stats.
Right.
This is the NFL's.
Yes, and this is
this ain't Pro Football Focus, nothing like
analytical data,
yes.
Real data that they spit out. And this says that the Detroit Lions had the best draft. And I think the funny thing about this, not that it's funny, is how poorly those first 2 picks specifically were viewed on draft night. You know, the immediate reaction to the first 2 picks. I mean, when Jahmyr Gibbs, you could have taken Jalen Carter. Or if you wanted Jahmyr Gibbs, why not get Bijan Robinson? Jack Campbell, who's this guy?
Gibbs would have been there at 18.
Yeah, Gibbs would have been there. Jack Campbell would have been there in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
You know, it is the dichotomy between how you feel about it on draft night to sleeping on it to seeing the actual data on how good the Lions draft was, very different.
With 100%, it goes back to what we talk about Brad Holmes. You got to give Brad Holmes that credit. He had a plan. He's had a plan since he's been here from day one. He and Dan Campbell told us it's going to be a 3-year process. Going into last year's draft, they know the players they wanted. They got the players they wanted. Going into this year's draft, and also, we talk about this being a bad draft. We talk about how there were only 15 first-round grades. We talk about all that with everybody knowing that this was a bad draft, with everybody reaching for picks, with everybody saying, we don't know what this guy or that guy. Well, let's take this guy. Once you got past 10, everybody's grasping at straws, if you will. To get past 10 in a draft where it's like, well, I don't know, it's this guy, it could be this guy may not be good because of this. To get the players you want, and all of them, the first 4 guys are going to be starters right away. They're coming out and playing right away. This is why you look at the NFL's draft and the NFL's rankings and why the Lions have the best draft. They moved down from 6 to 12 and get the running back that they most wanted anyway. And get the player that they most want, the player that they saw at number 1 in terms of what he could bring to the Detroit Lions, the way that their system was already slated to be. You got Jahmyr Gibbs in that. And also you get Jack Campbell. Hell, I may not like him, but you know what? We will grow to like him because the Detroit Lions like him. You pick up Brian Branch, who could have easily been a first-round pick. You pick him up in the 2nd. You pick up Hendon Hooker. You look at the picks they made. They were the players that they wanted. You can't tell me anything negative about a team that goes out and gets the players that they wanted and they're speaking the actual factual truth. This is what makes it even better. Well, what the Houston Texans did at 2 and 3, they're slated to spend $106 million between their rookies. With the the Seahawks, $90 million between their rookies. You talk about money. You talking about having to need money. Shout out to the Tigers, another home run. Guess what? $69 million is all the Lions will be able to hook for their players in the complete draft. They won the draft 100%, and sometimes it takes a day or 2 or 3 later for you to figure that out, or sometimes it just tells the NFL to tell you, hey, the Detroit Lions had the best draft.
Hey, I keep watching all these guys pop out on Twitter. CBS, they came out with they did their podcast and they lauded the Lions. I watched Colin Cowherd say, I loved what the Lions did. Yeah, they took this Jahmyr Gibbs. Even he was shocked that they took him that high. But the way they're going to use him is like a Deebo Samuel. I mean, he might as well wear number 11. He didn't choose number 11, though. But he might as well have wore number 11 on this team. I know Khalif Raymond has it already. But the way they're going to use him is like that, like a whatever you call that kind of back. It's not a Z back.
Yeah,
what's a Deebo?
Multi-purpose for the most part. He'll be a multi-purpose
athlete.
Athlete.
He's a damn good player. He's phenomenal. Actually, we're going to do a little series. Lucas and I will break down the Detroit Lions draft pick. So prepare for the breakdown of Jahmyr Gibbs because it is going to be electric. His stuff at Georgia Tech, watch out, ladies and gentlemen. He's special.
Just number 2 on that list, the Tennessee Titans. Peter Skoronski in the 1st round, Will Levis in the 2nd round, Tajay Spears, the running back, in the 3rd round. That's pretty darn good.
It is.
You know what I mean? You're replacing Taylor Lewan. You're replacing Ryan Tannehill, you hope, and you're replacing Derrick Henry eventually. I mean,
correct.
that's the way to go about it anyway, whether you I mean, nobody's Derrick Henry. Let's be honest, but you got to do the best you can. That's a pretty darn good pickup.
Remember that rumor he was going to Philly?
3. Yeah,
that thing kind of died on the vine.
I think Ezekiel Elliott to get to the Cowboys before Derrick Henry gets to the Eagles.
You know what team is not on here, which should be on here? Thought the Baltimore Ravens too. Baltimore Ravens won the draft by signing Lamar Jackson to a 5-year deal and then acquiring Zay Jones.
Yeah.
Or Zay Flowers.
On top of having Odell Beckham.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good draft from them as well. I want to transition to this too. Yesterday we had talked about it. Who is going to wear number 1, Jahmyr Gibbs or Jameson Williams? The answer? Neither. It's going to Cam Sutton. The free agent pickup.
Wow.
It is going to Cam Sutton. So the Lions tweeted this out yesterday, and it is all the jersey numbers. This is the free agent jersey numbers. Marvin Jones is going to wear 0. Remember, he was 11 with the Lions. Cam Sutton gets the number 1. C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets 2. Woo-hoo. Emmanuel Mosley gets 4. And David Montgomery gets 5. And then some of the other guys, Graham Glasgow, there gets his old number 60 back. Now we move on. The rookie jersey numbers. Hendon Hooker is going to wear 12.
Good number.
Jahmyr Gibbs wears 26 for whatever reason. I don't like that number, 26. Not that it matters, but 26 is too fat of a number for a speedy guy, I think. Brian Branch is going to wear 32. Jack Campbell, 46, and so forth.
Le'Veon Bell wore 26. I think Miles Sanders was.
Oh, yeah, Le'Veon Bell wears 26.
26. I think Miles Sanders wore 26 as well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I like the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs shows a running back number. Show you he wants to, like, he's showing he's followed the NFL. He wants to wear a running back number in the NFL because he is an NFL running back. Hey, look, Cam Sutton got to the number 1 first because at the end of the day, when they brought him in, Jeff Okudah, I guess, was still going through that. And maybe he put his in first. Maybe they told him something. Maybe they said, hey, we're going to move Jeff so you can get 1 if you want to. But at the end of the day, I like seeing Jameson Williams in 9. I like the whole story behind it. It had a unique story. It was Calvin was 81. Now Calvin's back with the Detroit Lions. He's helping out. We've seen him in Allen Park a couple times after the draft. And here's Jameson Williams. Perfect situation for Calvin Johnson to come give this guy some mentorship. I like him wearing 9 because I like the story behind it.
And he called Matthew Stafford to ask if I could use that number 9.
It's so much behind it already. It's like 9.
But here's the thing. What you said, maybe they don't give Jameson number 1 to show him, hey, you gotta earn that number 1. Maybe they did that.
I'm not telling you I've been punished in the NFL before, but
maybe they say, hey, look, you get on the field and we'll talk about a number change or a uniform change. Either way,
Cam Sutton's got it. You said,
yeah, Cam Sutton.
Well, he's
the free agent
for 3 years.
The
other guy signed for 1 year.
Emmanuel Mosley did, the free agent corner from Pittsburgh. That was their biggest, really, free agent signing this year to a longer term deal, 3 years, $33 million.
87 went to Sam Laporta. That used to be Quintez Cephas' number.
Look at that.
But I want to throw out a number to our guy, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's what, 5'9"? What was the last 5'9" running back that you had here?
Javid Best?
No, Barry Sanders.
Oh, I was going to say Zach Zenner.
What is he?
5'6".
5'6"?
5'7".
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Billy Sims wore 20. Lem Barney wore 20. Billy Sims wore 20. Barry wore 20.
I wouldn't.
So it's not retired.
But don't put that type of identity on him. I think if you put 20 on Jahmyr Gibbs, or if Jahmyr Gibbs put 20 on himself, instantly here come the analogies.
I know.
Here come the he looks or like this, or he's not Barry. You're either gonna get 1 or 2 camps. You'll get the one camp where 20 should be retired.
Nobody 20 is retired.
It is retired. It's like the only one.
It's retired for all 3 of them, though.
They
all had it.
Which means if somebody asks, they'll pull it out of retirement.
Exactly. That's why nothing retired.
Don't go get number 20, because then it puts unfair. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you're like expectations.
Pressure.
It's unfair expectations. You put 20 on him, he's instantly Barry Sanders all of a sudden. And when he doesn't perform like Barry Sanders, man, Barry would have scored on that. Barry would have broke that tackle. Barry would have made him miss.
It's funny. I think it was NFL Draft Night we saw. Ryan Lentz, who's one of our guys here at Woodward Sports, who works hard.
Big Austin Meadows fan. He was walking down the streets of Royal Oak, heading to Fifth Avenue at our draft party, and he's wearing a number 9 Jameson Williams jersey. And I said, man, that sucks. If you're that looked like a totally official. That was one of those official 9 jerseys too. Yeah.
That was like expensive one. And that would suck if you buy a jersey 1 year and then they have a number change the
NFL
following year.
gives you an out now. They give you there's some jerseys that you buy that the NFL will guarantee if the number changes, you could go and switch that number.
Swap them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Because, they're making it a thing now. Guys want to change the numbers more and more and more. Guys actually even have a penalty sometimes, too. Sometimes they got to pay for all
Oh,
this.
yeah.
It's big business.
I forgot who changed it from Minnesota. It was who's their running back
Dalvin
now?
Cook.
Dalvin
He
Cook
went from
wanted to change his
27
stuff.
to-
They're like, you
yeah.
have to sell out all the other numbers first.
It's like 27 to 4. I think he went down
He
to
had
4.
to sell out all his number jerseys first before they gave him the new number.
Really? Is that how it worked
100%.
out?
They didn't order any new ones, but the ones that they already had, he had to sell every one of those 27s before then he could change to 4.
This is a dumb question, but was David Montgomery 5 in Chicago? I
No.
feel like he was
No, he was like
double
32.
digit. Yeah, 32.
Yeah.
Well, 32
so
make 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so like, why not just take 32 here?
I don't know.
Swift
Someone
is
else
gone.
got 32.
Swift is gone.
But what if you? But
They
if
gave
you,
32 up. Who did we give it to?
Swift?
No, someone's wearing 32.
Oh, Branch.
Is it Branch?
Yeah, it's
Branch.
Branch. Yeah.
My man.
But at the same time, too, like when you leave a bad situation, you don't want to necessarily wear the same
New identity,
especially
a
if you
little
really
bit.
haven't had a ton of success with it. I didn't have to have 17 when I left Cleveland and got to New York. I was like, hey, look, man, I'm just out of Cleveland. It doesn't matter what it is, but I was lucky to get it. If you had a bad situation or like, look what Chicago has been the last 2 years. He don't want to think about Chicago anymore. Fresh start.
No doubt. I something about the number thing that I think is fun because
It's identity, man.
yeah, it is. And you see these guys, and the single digit number is all the rage now, right? I mean, everybody wants a single digit to the point where, hell, even Marvin Jones is taking 0. Do you like 0?
0 is one of those numbers. How good are you depends on if I like it or not. Like, to answer that question, no. But if you're dropping 52 on Kobe wearing it, i.e. Gilbert Arenas, 0 looks pretty cool.
I feel like 0 is a goofy number.
Until you ball out. Yeah. Until you ball out. Like 0 looks like a goofy number until your wide receiver has 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns. Then 0 looks cool.
I like 00 in the NBA.
Nah, that looks stupid.
There was no better 00 than the Chief, Robert Parrish.
One person, he was 7'2" and spoke and didn't
Don't
speak.
forget Jim Otto.
Can you wear 00
When
in the
did
NBA
Jim Otto
anymore?
play?
Jim Otto, Raiders, Hall of Fame
Okay, when did he play?
in the 70s.
Never saw his games.
Is 00 a legitimate
I'm
number in the
messing
NBA still? You wear it?
I think you can.
Right? Was Greg Ostertag 00? Remember that?
He
guy?
was. I think he was. No, was he 00? I think he was.
Unbelievable.
Who was the bonus? 50 something.
Cedric
Cedric
Sabalos.
Arvidas.
Oh, he's not your Vetus. He's not my Vetus.
He's our Vetus.
He's our Vetus. Sabonis. I think he was 00 as well.
I know it's a corny joke, but I'm glad we're on the
That's
same
right.
page.
Yes, guys, we'll take a break. When we come back, Dan Miller, voice of the Lions, going to join us, talk about the draft and this football team moving forward. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right. Not one but 2 cars. One for your spouse, maybe your kid, maybe a parent, maybe a best friend, whatever the case may be. Walk into any Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Less than 100 subscribers away from 43,000. If you can't watch live, download our podcast. Leave a 5-star review available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And, of course, woodwardsports.com. Go there, shop. Some great merch, as the kids say.
Got that merch. That
merch. You got that drip. Braylon's got that drip today.
Hey, man.
Right? Looking good.
Appreciate that.
Braylon Edwards.
You know what's something I was watching earlier that I think Maz will love? As I think college football turns 150 this year. I think this is the 150th year of college football. See, he put his phone down as soon as I said that. It's the 150th year of college football. And so they've been highlighting moments, coaches, players, etc. And I know Dan's on the phone, but they were showing Woody Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
He was an MFer boy.
Yeah, he was.
God.
You remember how he went out, and it wasn't really good.
The
Hitting
Clemson
poor
game.
Charlie Bauman of Clemson on the sideline.
Oh, look at that.
Punching him under the helmet.
Maz, a walking encyclopedia.
100%.
Guys, a pleasure, as always, to be joined by the voice of the Lions, Fox 2 sports director, the great Dan Miller. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Hey,
Thanks
Dano.
for the time, buddy.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Doing really good today. I want to start with this, Dan. This draft, and I know you had an opportunity to speak to Brad Holmes over the weekend. You know, what started out as kind of like a, what's he doing on draft night, quickly turned into a, man, this is a good draft. Is that kind of how you saw the 24-hour period from round one to the end of the draft, as they say?
Yeah, I definitely think Thursday night there was a lot of, like, what are they doing? And just as you said, and some gasps and some let me say this, okay? To me, the draft it can get a little irritating because everybody's an expert. And it's a little bit like if you have a couple talking points, you can become a Twitter scout. And all of a sudden, you know, your opinions are gold. That's just my take. Doesn't have to be yours. But yeah, no doubt. There were some people that there's some people that don't believe you should ever draft a running back in round one. And there's some people that don't look at you know, an off-ball linebacker is something that you should draft in round one. And you know what? If that works for them and their franchise, that's great. Talking to Brad Holmes, look, this is their board. This is the way they're going to go through the process. They're going to live with the results because you own the results. You drafted the players. And I think they're perfectly comfortable with that. They drafted guys for their window right now. They drafted guys that they believe will come in and help them right away. And, you know, we were talking about this the other day on the Sunday night show. And, you know, I hear people say, well, what about a second contract and this and that? Man, 4 to 5 years from now is an eternity in the National Football League. And this team is in their window, they believe, to win this division, get in the playoffs, see what they can make happen right now. So, look, I get some of the criticism because it might buck traditional values, but I think they're perfectly comfortable with the way that they did it, and I think they're perfectly comfortable if they have two players that can step in and make a big impact right away.
Dan, always a pleasure to talk to you. For those people that don't subscribe to the first-round running back camp, well, talk about Ezekiel Elliott's rookie year, 13-3, over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Last year, Saquon Barkley, what he did, and Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers. I mean, they didn't lose a game that he played in except the one without their quarterback, Brock Purdy. So you can tell those guys that. Let me ask you a question. Outside of Jahmyr Gibbs, who was the pick that really, really, really did it for you in this draft? What was the pick that you looked at and said, this pick I love?
Well, I think probably Branch, just because people didn't think that he was going to get there. And if I can throw out one other thing about the draft that kind of bugs me a little bit, and then I'll circle back.
I love it, Dan, because it bothers me too.
Maz's favorite phrase.
It bothers me too.
Here's
Everybody's
the thing,
an expert.
No, everybody's an expert, and here's the thing. And this isn't just about what the Lions did, but if they had drafted Brian Branch at 12 or 18, people would have been like, yes. And people would have been like, that's a great pick. So they take him at 45, and this isn't in any way shade at the young man, and I'll get back to him in a second, but they draft him at 45, and all of a sudden, it's a steal. All of a sudden, it's the best pick they've made, which to me ignores the fact that 44 times NFL general managers passed on him. So you'd have been happy at 18, but he fell to 45, and he didn't fall by accident. Everybody knew he was on the board.
Yeah.
And it's celebrated. You can't have it both ways. And that's where this thing kind of just makes your head spin a little bit. That said, look, he's a really exciting player who got knocked back by his testing at the combine and running a 4.58. But I think while speed is certainly a large component of what you do, so too are instincts, so too are the nastiness and the grit that he plays with, the way that he'll come up and hit you. I think they're really excited about what he can do for them. He might be a guy that there's not a spot for right away because of the help that they've brought in the secondary this year. But a couple of those guys are on one-year contracts, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Mosley as well. They're both one-year contracts, so he could slide right in next year. But I think he'll get some snaps. I think he's going to become a core special teams player right off the bat. I think he's intriguing to me. I tell you, Broderick Martin is a guy, if you look at him, not a complete product by any means, but a 338-pound man that's got some ability to move, and you don't find those very often. So I'm kind of thinking, okay, what can happen with him? Because it's a position of need for this football team. What can happen with him when you get him with this coaching staff, which has shown an ability to take young talent and develop it? So I'm excited to see him, but everybody's got a story. I mean, Hooker obviously is a guy that was probably trending towards being a top 5 pick in November, and now all of a sudden you're able to get him in the 3rd round. But obviously there's questions about, the knee coming out of a Tennessee system that's very different than most things that you'll see. So, I think there's a lot of guys in this draft that I see guys that I think will help right away, and I see guys that I'm intrigued to see what they can ultimately become.
You can let the cat sit on your lap, Dan. You
I
can,
know, she is just dying to come in there.
Give her a little FaceTime. Give her a little FaceTime.
We don't take ourselves that serious over here. You're more than
That is
fine.
awesome.
I agree with you 100%. I love the Brian Branch. Look at the cat. That's what I'm talking about. I love the cat as well, but I love the pick of Brian Branch as you do. And also, what do you think about this, Dan? You look at what the Texans stand to spend on their rookies. I think it's 109. I think the Seahawks are going to spend 90. The Detroit Lions got every player that they wanted for the most part, and they're spending $69 million. That's the stuff people don't talk about.
Yeah, and they moved around a lot, and I think Brad Holmes was able to do some things with the board to give themselves the ability to move up and get Branch, to trade back, get some value, and still get Gibbs, and then they picked up that pick early in the 2nd round. So I give credit to him, and I asked him, and I was serious, who in the heck keeps track of what picks you have and what picks you don't? Because Friday night, I couldn't keep track. It was crazy. It was just just trade after trade after trade. And I'd have been walking up there with a card. They'd have been like, dude, it's not your pick right now. You traded that. But it was, I think that, I give him credit for that and just being locked in on what they wanted to do. Look, I mean, fact is, guys, and Braylon, you know this better than anybody. We do not know, where this, I give up. We do not know where this draft is going to go or how these guys are ultimately going to be. And we're talking right now about being excited by potential. In the end, we'll judge it by reality and what these guys are able to produce. And like I said, Braylon, you've been there, you understand that, and you've seen hotshot rookies come in and probably looked at them on day one and gone, not going to make it. So we'll see what's going to happen with these guys. But I think they're very comfortable with what they did, and I'm excited to see. Look, Gibbs is a different talent, man. That is something that I'm excited to see what Ben Johnson can do with that. I think Campbell is a guy that I made the statement the other night on our show. I'll be shocked, and I'm just kind of shorting him 1 year as a rookie to not know how much he's going to play right away. I bet you this guy leads his team in tackles at least 2 out of the next 3 years. I think he's one of those guys that's just going to stack back there. And they need a little bit to be a little more stout back there. They were not good against the run last year, and he can give them some help at the second level. So I think, it's fun to project what they might be. The real fun becomes when you figure out that they're who you think they are.
Hey, Dan, are you? I don't want to say if you're surprised that Swift got traded, but are you surprised that he got traded to what many people believe will be the Lions' chief competition, the Philadelphia Eagles?
I think probably Brad Holmes placed as many calls as he could, took as many calls as he could, and found the best offer. I think at the end of the day, you got to do what you can to maximize what you can get for him. And the problem is, with all due respect to DeAndre, look, the other teams saw the games that he's missed, and the fact that, his availability has been a question, and that's a problem. I imagine if he would have gotten offered something better by somebody else, he would have made the trade. I think that's the best that he could do at that moment. So I'm not surprised he got traded, because I don't think with Gibbs coming in there was necessarily a role for him, and I don't think that DeAndre would have been happy with extremely limited snaps, coming into the season. And I think we all saw the writing on the wall that this was the final year of his contract, and based on what we had seen to this point, there was no reason to think that they were going to extend him.
Talking to Dan Miller, voice of the Lions, Fox 2 sports director. Dan, obviously you look at the draft and Hendon Hooker, you mentioned him a minute ago, third-round pick. A lot of people looking at that. The Lions finally drafted perhaps a future quarterback. Where do things stand right now? How do you see things playing out between Jared Goff and Hendon Hooker, or what any plan will be long-term?
This is Jared Goff's job, and Jared Goff is going into this year as the quarterback of a team that's favored to win the NFC North. And I think where this goes from here will depend on how Jared Goff plays. Now, look, there's things that will happen around him that will not be his fault. But for what he can control, is Jared Goff the quarterback that we saw for the last 10 or so games last year, who was careful with the football, moved that offense up and down the field, top 5 offense in terms of scoring, and did great? Or is he the quarterback that we saw early in the season where the ball security was a question? And look, if Goff is the guy that we saw in Los Angeles for a couple of years with the Rams before things kind of went a little bit sideways there, or if Goff is the guy that we saw in the last half of last year when this team went 8-2 down the stretch, Hendon Hooker's not going to be the quarterback for the Detroit Lions. It will be Jared Goff, and we'll see what happens to Hendon Hooker, whether or not he becomes trade bait as a valuable piece or is the backup quarterback here. But in my mind, if Jared Goff is as good as he was at the end of last year in leading this team, playing football the way he did, they'll pay him, they'll keep him, and I think they want him to be the quarterback. I think they brought in Hooker, because that's great value at that point in the draft, and we don't know where this will go with Goff, but I think their intention is that Jared Goff is their quarterback, and I just think if this team is capable of doing and does do what we think they can, Goff's going to be the quarterback, and I think he'll be around here for a while. But the interesting thing is, look, he's 2 years left on a contract, so probably at the end of this year, it's a discussion that you have to have. I think his play and his production will dictate how those discussions go. But he goes in my mind, as the quarterback with the job to lose.
Dan, let's make some projections. Let's look ahead a little bit. You look at the Detroit Lions and how Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have constructed this team. You look at what they've done in the draft and the offseason. Outside of the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, are there any teams that you're immediately worried about in the NFL based on what Brad Holmes has done with this team?
Yeah, I still think Buffalo is up there, and we're waiting for them to kind of take that next step. They're still really good offensively and defensively. Just in this division, we'll see what happens with Minnesota. I'm not projecting them as being completely out of it, as some people have. I mean, they still have an explosive running game. They still have maybe the best receiver, or certainly one of them in the league. Cousins can win games. They have problems defensively, but let's see how they attack those. I just think that San Francisco is still really good. I mean, look what they did last year with all the injuries that they had. So I think there's other teams out there that you absolutely have to look at. But I think what the Lions have done is put themselves in the conversation. But frankly, that's all they've done. I mean, the 8-2 finish was great. Would have been great to see them have a chance to get into the playoffs. But, now you're coming at this thing from a much different angle. You're coming at this thing as the favorite. And I'm not saying they surprised people last year, because once they started playing well, people knew what was coming. But I do think that there is a difference when you go in as the favorite and you kind of wear that and you understand those expectations versus when they came in last year with certainly they had expectations of themselves, but there was not on the outside. Everything they're going to hear this year is about what they're expected to do. And if they get off to a great start, that thing builds. If they don't, I can start banging in your ears a little bit if you're not where people expected you to be. So I think they put themselves in a great position. But as I say, that's really all they've done. Now you got to go out and earn it.
Great point, D. Mills.
Hey, Dan, just circle back with me for just a couple of quick
It's his
questions
favorite
here.
phrase. And then we'll let you go, Dan.
Jared Goff. Jared Goff's a starter. Hendon Hooker's the rookie. Nate Sudfeld, they signed him. Who's the backup quarterback for the Detroit Lions?
It's a great question. Brad Holmes was asked at his press conference, are you still interested in signing a veteran backup? And Teddy Bridgewater is obviously the guy that's out there that they apparently made a bid for. I don't know if they're still actively doing that. Look, Hooker isn't expected to be cleared until, I think they said, and Brad Holmes won't even put a timeline on it, but some of the things that I read said maybe week 1 of the regular season. That's a little bit dicey to count on a rookie if you consider yourself a team that is going to win the division, expected to win the division. So the answer right now, I think, is Nate Sudfeld. But the question is, are they still in the market to bring in a veteran and somebody that they're looking to back up Goff in case something happens to him? Because you could see this thing going in the wrong direction very quickly if you don't have a capable backup back there ready to step in and run this team. And I don't know, based on the timeline or lack thereof, that you can count on Hooker being that guy. And Sudfeld just hasn't proven that in the NFL.
Last one for me, Dan, is I got to go back to DeAndre Swift. Why not hold this guy over? It's his last year. When he leaves, you're going to get a comp pick anyway. Philly's going to get a compensatory pick if they don't re-sign him. We got to pick 2 years from now in the 4th round. We traded him to the best team in the NFC. Why not hold this guy as at least a backup to the guys that we have? What if someone gets injured? I mean, why not put Swift in? He only plays 50, 60% of the time anyway.
Yeah, it's a fair question. I don't know that DeAndre Swift had an interest in that. If you
it's
look
not
at the
his
reports,
choice.
His agents were. Yeah, I understand that, but also you have to consider the locker room, and you have to consider, if a player's going to be there that absolutely doesn't want to be there. And it seems like, based on the reports, very quickly, his representatives got on the phone with the Lions and said, we want to be traded. That's what the reports basically said, and I think the Lions were probably moving in that direction anyway. Maz, I just don't know that they looked at Swift that was going to be a guy that was happy playing either no snaps a game and not in uniform, or playing 2 snaps a game, 3 snaps a game, or something like that. Look, they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs to put him on the field.
Yeah.
They didn't draft him to split time with anybody. They've drafted him to be side by side with Montgomery, and I think play together a lot.
Yep.
And there just wasn't a role for Swift at that point. It's a fair question. I get it. I just don't know that they thought that was the best thing going forward for them or for Swift, in particular, understanding that it was the last year of his deal and they were in essence drafting his replacement.
I got mad because it just pisses me off. That's all. I don't want to give him away for nothing.
Maz, if he
listen,
wanna,
I would take a 6th round.
Maz,
I would take a 7th round pick from him.
If he don't want to be here, he doesn't want to be here. Was it slavery? He don't want to be
Maz,
here.
is this about Swift?
Exactly. Thank you, Dan.
I don't want the Eagles to have him.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Hey, Dan, Braylon was yelling at Maz yesterday about this very thing because he said exactly what you said.
The locker room.
He's like, I don't want this guy in our room. Doesn't want to be here.
That locker room can be ugly when they see a guy not wanting to be there. Like when they were 1-6, Dan tell me he wasn't on the field, he wasn't playing a lot, but then they start to win. Guys in the locker room are like, whoa, this guy wants to play now. What happened when we were 1-6? Like that's how guys in the locker room view things, man.
You would know.
Yeah. You would think.
Braylon would know, and I think if his representatives were that quick to react, then you know where that's coming from as well. That's coming from the player, and I think it's probably just best for everybody involved. And you know what? Sometimes it's better to just make a break. Now, granted, they need to find probably a 3rd running back now, and whether it's the kid from Minnesota, Ibrahim or Ibrahim.
You'll figure it out by August.
I loved him in college. He's fun to watch.
Of course.
Right. Craig Reynolds still out there.
Justin Jackson played an important role for this team last year, and he's still out there. So we'll see what happens. But point well taken. You've got to have some depth, and right now I think that's probably what they're working on.
The great Dan Miller, thanks so much for the time, my friend. We held you over a lot longer than we told you.
Don't say we. It was Maz.
It was Maz, actually. Yeah, it was Maz's fault. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you, and all the love to your cat as well for making the appearance.
I appreciate you guys. I'll circle back with you.
I appreciate it. Take care, Dan.
The great Dan Miller, everybody. Check him out on Fox 2, and, of course, Detroit Lions. They got a big season ticket holder event tonight on Zoom. Yeah.
You going to be there?
Very good. I actually, I don't know if I am or not. I don't know.
Don't be that guy.
I got my login and everything. I'm ready.
Don't be that guy. You got to be a part of the community.
Yeah,
you just became a part of it.
Season ticket holder, baby. Lots of exciting things happening with the Lions. We are going to take a break. We'll come back, get you to the top of the hour, and then we're going to have some fun at the top of the hour. Let me tell you. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Yes, sir. And Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Get on down there and try those classic breakfast items like the strawberry hotcakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffle. And if you're not in the mood for breakfast, they got you covered. Lunch, dinner, snack, whatever. Try out their strawberry bacon chicken wrap, or if you want a salad, their refreshing summer splash salad. Don't you dare leave there without dessert. They're berry delicious strawberry pie. That's right, the classic strawberry pie or the deep-fried vanilla Oreos and more. Get on down to Big Boy.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Speaking of Maz, this guy, you disgruntled employee over here, he's on fire.
Maz freaking hates DeAndre Swift.
He does. I want Dan Miller, always great to have on, the voice of the Detroit Lions. And man, whenever I think of Lions, I think Dan Miller. One thing he said I wanted to touch on, because I've been talking about this for a minute, there will be a different target on the Detroit Lions this year than last year. Last year, the Detroit Lions, when you play against teams and they're looking at the Lions, oh, it's the Lions on the schedule. They're not paying attention to film. They're not doing anything extra. Some guys might go out the night before the game and stay out a little longer than usual, barely make curfew, if you will. It's the Lions. It's the Cleveland Browns. That's how a mentality is. Now that this team is good, people are going to watch all the film. They're going to look at all the calls. They're going to look at all the adjustments, all the hand size. They're going to know players inside and out, what they look like in the first quarter versus what they look like in the fourth quarter. Teams are going to be intuitive, and they're going to come in with everything they have for the Detroit Lions next year. This isn't last year. This isn't starting off 1-6. This isn't 2 years ago when you guys were 3-13-1. You guys finished 9-7, and you finished 8-2. Teams are going to be gunning for the Detroit Lions this year.
And not only that, but they are a division
favorite.
Right? I mean,
you're not surprising anybody.
No, you're not sneaking up on anybody. You're going to get.
What, they lose one game last year in division?
In division, and it was to Minnesota in Minnesota.
They gave that away.
They were up twice in that game.
Exactly. Last year was a season of what ifs, right? I mean, it was a season of what ifs. There's no question about it. But there's going to be some competition for playoff spot this year. Playoffs. You do have to. I think. Well, you don't have to do anything, but I mean, you've got Seattle, San Francisco. In the West, you still have the NFC East, which was really good last year with the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants.
The Giants got better in the draft.
Absolutely. So you probably will only get one team in the playoffs from your division. That's what I would anticipate. One team from the NFC North is getting in.
It was, my apologies. I was just still thinking about
go for it. Yeah.
I always bring up the Cleveland Browns, so I'll do the Jets this time. I remember the first year with the Jets when we snuck into the playoffs. We ended up winning the last game of the season to go 9-7, and then we end up going on a little playoff run. Nobody was thinking about the Jets, man. You know that. Nobody was thinking about Mark Sanchez and the Jets in 2009. Who was this kid out of USC? He wasn't that good at USC. Nobody thought twice about us. We didn't have offense. We were just a defensive team. But coming into 2010, after Hard Knocks, just like the Lions last year, after Hard Knocks, after bringing in Jason Taylor, after bringing in LaDainian Tomlinson in the offseason, teams were looking at us, and everybody gave us their best. The Texans weren't even that good of a team. We beat the Texans on the 4 seconds left in the game. Everybody gave us their best that year. I'm talking about bum teams gave us their best, including yours truly, the Detroit Lions, win the overtime. Like, we went to overtime with the Lions in 2010. Everybody gives you their best when they hear about you on ESPN, when they hear about you on Fox. When they hear, of course we did. I ain't lose to the Lions. But everybody's going to be gunning for the Lions this year because it's not just they've gotten better. They're talking about them nationally.
And another thing that Dan was talking about, too, and I think it is pretty appropriate. This is Jared Goff's team.
It is.
You could want Hendon Hooker, or you could want a backup, or you could want the Lions to move on from him in 2 years. He is going to have the ability to, and we hope, look, if Jared Goff signs a long-term deal with this team 2 years from now, or even at the end of next year, not only good for him, good for the city of Detroit, because chances are, if you are renegotiating after next season with Jared Goff on a long-term deal,
at least been in
not
NFC
only are you a
championship.
winner, but you probably won the division, you probably won a playoff game, and at
Might
that
have gotten
point,
to the conference.
You might have gotten to the conference championship. So every single Lions fan out there in the state of Michigan, in the city of Detroit, in the universe, should be rooting for Jared Goff to get a long-term extension for the Detroit Lions, because that means that he won.
No doubt.
Lions fan.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila. I'm going to steal this from Colin Cowherd. When he was talking about the Lions and Jahmyr Gibbs, and he brought up Jared Goff. And he's like, hey, look, Jared Goff's, to me, still a top 10 quarterback in this league. When he was with the LA Rams in the beginning, he was a terrific quarterback. He had Todd Gurley. Everything was perfect. What do the Lions have? One of the best offensive lines. Check. 2 good running backs. Check. Jared Goff, when he has that, wins 75% of his games. I'll just take that from him. Without a running game and a couple of missing pieces on the offensive line, you see the difference. He turns the ball over, he fumbles, throws interceptions. The Jared Goff we want, obviously, is the guy who didn't throw an interception in the last 8 or 9 games of last season. I will remind Lion fans, I will remind you guys, a guy by the name of Scott Mitchell came here and lit it up. The offense was phenomenal. Went to a few playoff games, didn't win one. So if Jared Goff gets you to a playoff game this year and they lose, how do you feel then? I just want to throw that out at you.
Like lose a home playoff game?
Lose a playoff game.
Does Jared Goff throw 2 picks in that game?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know.
Something I heard that was interesting, though, obviously we talk about Jared Goff. He did what he was supposed to last year, but every year is a new year. Like, what Jared Goff did last year, it was amazing. For the Detroit Lions, it was amazing for him, but they didn't get into the playoffs, and now that's over. This is going to be the year that people are paying attention to in terms of, is he going to get paid? Should he be paid for the Detroit Lions? So this is going to be a very, very pivotal year. But an interesting comment or interesting thought is, what if you do pay Jared Goff after he has another good year this year? Let's say you win a home playoff game. Say you get a home playoff game. Say that means you won the division. You win that home playoff game. Yeah, you lose in the second round. Jared Goff has a good season and you pay him. What if all the things you were scared of Jared Goff, they come into when he has this big deal, this 6-year deal, $245 million, or this 5-year deal, $220, or whatever the extension will be if he balls out this year. Then what if all those other things that have come up with him, oh, he turns the ball over, oh, the short arms, oh, this, that, and the third. That's the one position you don't want to be in, is extending Jared Goff and then looking back at all the things, and those things start to resurface. But now you're on the hook for $225 million.
Guess the schedule.
Oh!
We are debuting Guess the Schedule. We're going to do it next. We're going to have some fun. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. Your local security experts have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people mean you are being backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call him today. Tell him Woodward Sports sent you.
He's out.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Over 750 live viewers. If you could go ahead and hit that like button for us on YouTube. Let's see if we can get to over 200 likes by the end of this segment. However you are watching Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate it, whether it's YouTube, sitting at home on your couch watching it on your television, maybe you're on your computer at work, or on your phone, streaming in your car, however you're doing it. We can't thank you enough. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. Let's see if we can get to over 43,000 subscribers, less than 100 away on YouTube.
No, I was laughing.
What?
I was laughing because Dan tweeted. He said, "Always, fun to hang out with you guys." He added, "Maz, you and I on it," and I said, "You'll see it." I said, "Oh man, you're the best. Always funny. You're the best." But also Brady Quinn, but also Dave Burkett, but also John U. Bacon. I couldn't leave anybody out. But at least Dan knows he's in a damn good group.
He's in the best. He's in the best category.
He's in the best group.
No doubt about it.
Tuesdays with Dan.
Yeah. Hey, we do that during the season.
That's
Looking
right.
forward to getting back into the NFL season. Cannot wait. But we don't want to wish summer away just yet. We've got some fun things
I
coming.
got to open the pool.
Oh, yeah. Man's got to open the pool.
Can I get invited this
party.
year?
Yeah, sure.
I did get invited last year.
You're always invited. It's an open invite.
Yeah,
I got
that's the
invited
thing
last
with
year
Maz.
once.
It's an open invite.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
You can't tell brothers open invite. You can't tell brothers open invite.
Right. Guys, hour number 2. Thanks to everybody. Wanted to play a fun... So... It was announced that the NFL schedule release is going to be May 11th, which is next Thursday. It'll probably be a primetime event, like 8 o'clock on NFL Network.
We'll know
probably.
half the schedule by the time it comes out.
Exactly. It'll be trickling out.
Yes.
But nonetheless, we thought we would play a game called Guess the Schedule. So we're just going to go around the room. I've got some questions here.
Right.
I thought maybe we could go around the room and we'll all answer these questions. How does that sound?
I like it.
Okay, very good. If you want to get in on the chat, feel free. Are you ready for Guess the Schedule? Question 1.
Ready.
All right. Question 1. Will the Lions open up at home or on the road? Very simple. Braylon?
Me first. Home. I believe the Detroit Lions will open up at home. I think the NFL wants to get the Lions rocking and rolling, get their fan base going, get their season start off on the right foot, because the Lions are a great story for the NFL. Give me Lions home opener.
All right.
Who won the Super Bowl again? Was it the Chiefs?
It was the Chiefs.
Okay, so they're going to open on Thursday.
Ooh.
They're going to open against probably a rival. So I will say the Lions, last year they opened at home against Philly. I say they're on the road this time. And I'll say they're on the road at Chicago.
Okay.
I think it's going to be an in-division game.
Ugh.
All right. I am going to go opening up on the road as well because last year they opened up at home. That's the only reason. That's my guess.
Okay.
So Braylon home, Maz road, Ryan road. Question number 2.
I love how I was the only one that looked at it from like a conspiracy theory.
Question number 2.
All right.
How many primetime games will the Lions play? How many primetime games will the Lions play? That includes Thursday night football. That includes Sunday night football. That includes Monday night football. That does not include the late season Saturday game.
Right. Okay.
Which is a
Thanksgiving
potential.
is considered.
That counts.
Thanksgiving is
That's
considered
a prime time.
a primetime game. Yes.
I'll go first for you, Matt. I think the Lions get 5 primetime games.
5.
I think they get 2 Monday nights. I think they get a Thursday night. And I think they get, 4. I think they get a Thursday night, Sunday night, No, it is 5 because Thanksgiving counts as a prime time. So 2 Monday nights, Sunday night, Thursday night, Thanksgiving.
Look at that.
5.
Tom Mazawey?
I'm going to go with 4. I think they like us, but they don't like us that much. They got Aaron Rodgers to put out there. They got
Lamar
Jackson to put out there. I'll say we get Thanksgiving and 3 others. We'll get a Monday and a couple of Thursdays. No. A Monday, a Thursday, and a Sunday night.
So just 3.
Plus Thanksgiving makes 4.
I am going to go with Thanksgiving and 2 others, so I'll say 3. What I do believe is perhaps maybe they
flex schedule.
They could flex, but instead of having the Lions on at 1 o'clock, I don't doubt them play some 4:25 games. Is that potentially possible?
Yeah, but that's not considered prime time.
I know, but that's how you get the Lions, more eyes on the Lions.
Yeah.
There's some damn good teams out there. We are so focused on the Lions here in Detroit, but you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford. I mean, you're talking about a lot of teams out there.
But out of all the teams you just named, the only 3 that are adding to the list of primetime games, all those other guys have already been on primetime. I see the Chargers way too much.
Yeah.
I see the Buffalo Bills. I see you name those teams, I see all of them. The only ones you don't see are the Detroit Lions and the it was an NFC team, but it's the Eagles.
Okay.
The Eagles last year, they won on a ton of games because they didn't expect Jalen Hurts to be that good last year. So I think you only got the Eagles, the Jets, and the Lions that you're really adding primetime games for. So,
all right, this is a good one, I think.
I love this one.
Who will be the Lions' opponent on Thanksgiving Day?
This is the first thing I think about every year.
Who will be the Lions' opponent on Thanksgiving Day?
I got it.
Okay.
It's the Raiders.
Okay.
Last year we played
Buffalo.
Oh, damn. Forget the Raiders. It's not the Raiders.
It's going to be.
I know who it is.
Who?
It's going to be one of our division opponents again.
That's what I think.
I'm going to go with the not the Packers. I'm going to go with the Bears.
You think it's going to be an in-division there?
Yeah.
Does it have to be?
It usually is. It usually goes AFC, NFC, AFC, NFC. So when they give us NFC, they usually give us the Packers or the Bears or the Vikings. Vikings might be an outside shot.
Okay, I'm going with the Jets.
Ooh.
I'm going with the Jets.
Do they play the Jets at home?
Let's see.
No, I'm tripping. Hold on. Yeah. I'm just grasping at straws now.
Because we don't.
So I was thinking of it.
I think they go Raiders. They have Broncos. They have Falcons, and I want to say Panthers at home, and then the divisional opponent. Seahawks.
They play Seahawks at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's your Thanksgiving game.
All right, I am going to go Bears at home, and I'm going to go Bears at home, even though I want to go Packers at home. The Lions have played the Packers or the Bears 39 times on Thanksgiving Day. They played the Bills last year. It was a CBS game.
Yep.
This year it's going to be a Fox game. So I think it'll be the Bears or the Packers. You know what? I'm gonna go Packers.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Packers because they played the Bears 3 of 4 times.
I want to scratch the Bears off of mine.
Okay.
I'll take the Vikings.
Scrap this question.
I love this question.
All right, this is a good one.
Yeah, but it's only like who are they gonna play? The Packers or the Bears? Like I thought we really were like trying to hope they were playing someone else.
Oh, hope they were playing.
So that's why I went. That's why I went Seattle. If we're just gonna go with the
I hope they play the.
If we're gonna go with the
Seattle.
odds-on favorite, of course they're gonna play the Packers or the Bears on Thanksgiving. That's what they always do.
Uncle Neil's soft feet says Seahawks.
I said Seahawks too.
All right, he agrees with you. Soft feet says you.
There's an outside shot that they can do back-to-back AFC teams. How'd you like to see Russell Wilson come here?
Denver
for Thanksgiving.
That'd be a big game.
Yeah,
you get
that'd be a big
Sean
game.
Payton, Russell Wilson,
Sean Payton versus Dan Campbell. How about the Thanksgiving sit down
See
by the fireplace?
Start thinking.
See, that's what I wanted.
Start thinking.
How about
we'll give you the Broncos
fireplace?
Okay, I like that.
All right, we'll give you the Broncos.
I like that.
Fireplace sit down. Okay, the Lions have the Chiefs on the road schedule. Will they play the Chiefs on the road in the first 6 games of the season when J-Mo is suspended, or not?
I think they play in the beginning. I still think they play them in the beginning because I think with the league, this is the NFL, you still got to think until the Detroit Lions do it, they haven't done it. Until they do it, they have not done it. And if you're the league and you're banking on this team being what you think they're going to be, you're trusting Brad Holmes, you're trusting this team, you're going to want that game to be early on in the season where it's still the best chance for them to have a good record or not have a bad record. You want to get that game in early. So I think it would be the Chiefs in the first 6 games. You don't want to wait till like week 14 and the Lions happen to make up a mistake and lying. So I'm going first 6 games.
I'll take the second half, and I'll say it'll be a Sunday night flex game.
Okay.
Not a flex, but just a Sunday night
Patrick
game.
Mahomes won't even play. Okay.
A Sunday night game.
Right.
Sunday night game. Second half of the year.
I am going to go first 6, and the only reason I say that is because if you go by last year's model, and I don't know what you could say about last year's model, but 5 of their first 6 games were against non-divisional opponents. So maybe they like to load up on non-divisional opponents high up in the schedule, and then after that,
you're right, because it was Eagles, then you had Commanders, Vikings, Seahawks,
Patriots, Cowboys, Dolphins.
Yeah.
So and then you got into Packers, Bears,
Buffalo.
And such. Okay. Who will be the Lions' final home game? I have this one.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to say they will end at home because I think they're going to open on the road. So you don't go home or road. I think they open up on the road and they end at home. They end up at home against the Minnesota Vikings because they will look ahead and project the Lions and Vikings to be the best 2 teams in that division. They will have them play on the final Sunday of the regular season for the division championship. Vikings.
Absolutely, Vikings. I was writing in the purple pen. I think they're going to be the team they play at the end because it's no more the Green Bay Packers. It's not the Chicago Bears there yet. Minnesota won last year. Detroit, Minnesota tend to split every single year. What better way to have Minnesota and the Lions fighting for the NFC North at the end of the season? Because the damn sure ain't going to be Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I picked the Vikings for my Thanksgiving Day game, so it kind of wrecks me for this game. I do like what you're saying, though, which will make me want to go back to Thanksgiving and change it. So I'll just say they'll play.
Seahawks still available.
I'll just say they're going to play the Packers last game of the year at home. They finished with them last year at Lambeau. This year they finished with them at Ford
With
Field.
Jordan Love?
With Jordan Love.
You sure?
Fresh off a $22.5 million deal.
Yes.
Look at that.
I think Jordan Love's going to be a lot better than everyone thinks.
Probably will. I don't know about a lot better, but probably will be better.
He's got a lot of weapons.
My biggest concern as it relates to Jordan Love is I have not heard anyone from the Green Bay Packers one time say how much they love Jordan Love, how much that they're excited for Jordan Love. I haven't heard anything like that in 3 years. That's concerning.
All right, guys. Thanks for playing. Thanks for everybody who played
liked
along
your game, right?
online.
Yeah.
What?
I liked your game.
What the hell?
It was fun.
Very good.
Okay.
Good
guys,
music underneath.
we're gonna go around the NFL next. We'll touch on some college football and get into last night's NBA and NHL as well. Huge night in Oakland, or they don't play in Oakland.
No.
They play in San Francisco, actually. But first, a message from Custom Health.
No one plays in Oakland anymore.
Centers. Are you feeling tired, depressed, or unmotivated? Low sex drive, muscle loss, or belly fat? Testosterone optimization therapy is a safe and effective way to restore your vitality, confidence, and performance, and reduce heart disease. Visit CustomHealthCenters.com, CustomHealthCenters.com, or you can give them a call, 877-965-0910. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, let's go around the NFL as we do each and every day. Get you some of the news and notes from around the league. Tom Mazawey, turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Do you guys remember the final video shot, the final shot at Lambeau Field? What two guys were walking out arm in arm? Basically?
Randall Cobb and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, they're back together again.
Unbelievable.
The Jets have signed Randall Cobb. Here's another toy for Aaron Rodgers. And he was spotted last night at the Knicks game again, sitting next to Sauce Gardner, having a great old time. He loves New York, and New York loves him.
Shout out to Sauce Gardner, Detroit's own, and King High School. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Aaron has been a primetime elite athlete and personality for, 18 years now? 18 years, but he's been stuck in Green Bay. He's been stuck in Green Bay. Like, everybody gets excited when they come to New York. You're on the scene. There's this red carpet, that red carpet, this event, that event. It's great, but to have Randall Cobb, it's not bringing the guy that's going to replace Mikael Hardman or take snaps away from Corey Davis or things like that. It's for the culture. It's to have a guy that knows how Aaron likes it, knows the system, knows what Aaron is looking for in terms of depth, spacing, etc., and he can relay that to players. He's not replacing anybody. He's just the guy that's won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers and has his back.
I think it's great. I
agree.
I think this is really great for the NFL. And I know there's a lot of all Lion fans hate them. They hate the Packers. I get it, I guess. But it was something special to watch that 4 o'clock game from Lambeau Field. I'm just glad that he's still playing. I think he's still got it. And I just wish he was not in the AFC somewhere. I mean, the Jets are going to have a hard time really maneuvering in that AFC as good as they are.
Well, that actually works. You know, we're talking about trying to get find out where they're going to give primetime games to. Just take all the Packers primetime games and give them to the Jets.
That's what they're doing.
That's all you got to do. Yeah. Take all the Packers primetime games and give them to the Jets.
You know, big time stars do that, though. I mean, it's like Tyronn Lue would follow Kobe Bryant wherever he went. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just those guys. Like, every star has a guy that, you know.
Yeah, like you said, it works. Hey, This is my guy. We developed a relationship, and in that relationship, he just happens to be this. So shoot, why not tag along? You heard with Brad
Gronk.
You heard Brad Pitt at the Oscars. We're talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. So I'll be your number 2 anytime when he won an Oscar. So
amen to that. Hey, this is a bothersome story, but it's happened a couple of years ago in Vegas. You remember Henry Ruggs? What happened to the former Raider wide receiver? He went out and took his Corvette and killed a woman, ran into her on a side street in Vegas. He was going, I think, 140, 150 miles an hour. Well, he's going to plead guilty. Matter of fact, today, and he's going to serve 3 to 10 years in prison. He's going to get a DUI with, obviously, there's a death involved, and vehicular manslaughter. He could have went to jail for over 50 years had he not accepted this particular plea.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, and he's still a young man. You know, it's tragic what
happened.
It is tragic what happened. It absolutely is. You know, what do you say about it?
This
right?
Breaks, this breaks my heart. Really.
It breaks my heart too, because I don't even. The remorse, I just don't. I don't know, man. 50 years, but 50 years is a long time. He's still a young man. 3 to 10. He's lost his. You know, he's lost a part of him too. Part of, you know, the football player in him has died. You know what I mean? Like, he'll probably. Yeah. It's so freaking hard when you're talking about life and death and what should happen to somebody else. You know, I mean, I don't know.
This is the 3rd time that I've seen this situation happen. One time was Leonard Little, who played for the Rams, came out of University of Tennessee. He had the same situation happen. I think he served a year. And then it happened to Dante Stallworth, a friend of mine who I know. He served 42 days in jail. With Henry Ruggs, it's a terrible situation. It's a tough situation for all those people out there with negative comments and thoughts and blah, blah, blah. Anybody could have been in this situation. Obviously, 146 is excessive. That's why he'll do 3 to 10. He'll serve his time, and he'll come out much better for it. He took the plea deal, which shows that, look, I'm here to serve my time, ready to get this thing cracking. It sucks that it has happened, but I'm going to tell you like this. This is a silver line. It's for something else. It is for something else. He has another purpose in life, and I hope once he comes out, he finds it.
He's going to a state prison.
I think one of the best parts about me is I am one of the most forgiving people you will find. And I think one of the worst parts about me is I am one of the most forgiving people. Like, my best traits are also my worst traits.
I see what you're saying.
And,
I'm with you, too.
you know, I mean, and because of that, you get taken advantage of a lot. I think like the you know, in that sort of.
Could you forgive him if that was your daughter?
Man, I don't know, man. That's
a
big.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
what it is.
I know. That's
That's a
the
fact.
question.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
That's the question, and the answer to that is probably not.
No.
You
Listen.
know, I mean, I don't. I pray to God that I would never be in that situation, but I just hope I'm never in that situation.
I would just pray to God that I had the strength to make the right decision.
Yes,
like, that's all I really can say.
That's what I wish I could have said earlier.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, you got me. That's what I would have said. Yes.
This is lose-lose, right?
Yeah.
A woman lost her life. It was a horrible death that she suffered. But this guy's going to jail. Is he going to get? Is it a jail that's going to improve his life, or is he going to go to jail and become a bad guy? That's what I don't like, because you took a good guy,
Right.
and now you're putting him in jail. Does he become like a bad person that's in jail? You understand what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah.
up. To be honest, man, that's up to him.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100%. Obviously, the people around him that have been talking to him, giving him counsel, writing him letters, but that's up to him. Do you want to become something better? Do you want to walk out of here with a different purpose? Or do you just want to sit there and be mad that everything that you had, everything that you worked for was ruined by yourself? It's up to him when he's sitting in that cell to make that decision.
Here's one for you guys, a little bit brighten.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's get
this is definitely going to brighten your day. You're a Houston Oiler fan, am I not correct?
1,000%.
Okay. Look what the Tennessee Titans put out. Something for us to look forward to.
Uniform change?
Take a look at this. Pulling a helmet out of an oil drum.
Oh, wow.
Look at that, baby.
Let's go.
Look at that.
Let's go.
That is so
Look
cool.
at that.
That is so cool.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Did I love those Oilers?
That is so cool.
Yo, this is a happy day. This is a happy day. You know how you love things because your parents love them.
Yep.
Men is usually your father. My father played with the Oilers. He's a diehard Oilers fan. I had an Eddie George freaking Tennessee Titans jersey, and I hate Ohio State, but it was because of the Oilers. I'm so glad to see that freaking
Earl
jersey
Campbell,
come back.
baby.
I know.
Tyler Rose.
Warren Moon.
I know I
Hayward
feel like I'm
Jeffries.
talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I feel like if you move a team, you have to leave the name. Like that's the Houston Oilers to me, not
Right.
the
But they did
Tennessee
become the
Oilers.
Tennessee Oilers. For the first two
For the
years,
first
they
2
were the
years,
Tennessee
yeah.
Oilers. Before they became the
Oh,
Titans.
that's right.
Yeah.
They own the Bud Adams family owns all the Oilers colors and logos.
Yeah.
So they took the history of the Oilers with them to Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
They were the
I guess it's
Tennessee
no
Oilers.
different from the Indianapolis Colts
Get
and
it.
the Baltimore Ravens
Yes.
and stuff like that.
I get it.
But the difference is,
The
like,
Ravens don't have the Browns history.
100%. That's the difference.
Yeah.
My dad, you talked about on the show when we had Lindell White on. He goes down there to those Tennessee Titans / Houston Oilers reunions every year, and they really, really ingratiate themselves into the Oilers culture mixed in with the Tennessee Titans culture, and it's a lot of love for the former Oilers players. They do it right down
There's
there.
a lot of people on the chat that are loving this Oilers. I want to bring up the game for you
It's
guys.
my favorite.
Do you remember that Sunday night game? ESPN had the Sunday Night Football, when it was great. Do you remember Kevin Gilbride against Buddy Ryan?
I think I do for some reason.
They fought.
Highlight-wise. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
They
Highlights.
fought on national TV.
I remember that.
I saw the highlights.
That was the Houston Oilers, man. And that was, what did they used to call the Astrodome when the Oilers played there?
The eighth wonder of the world? No,
it was the House of Pain.
Oh, there you
The
go.
House of Pain. I just
Still
love
young.
that Oilers. I'm sorry.
Buddy
I can sing
Ryan.
the song, Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers.
And there you go. Buddy Ryan's the coach of the Oilers. Guess who his son is? It's Rex.
You got it,
and
baby.
guess who played for Rex? So my dad plays for Buddy Ryan. I play for Rex Ryan and Rob Ryan. Go
That's
figure.
awesome.
That's great. Good stuff there, Tom Mazawey. Want to get into a little college football if I could. Then we're going to do NBA, NHL, big-time game in San Francisco last night. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants with not only restaurants, but hotels and casinos, too, with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference yourself today. All you have to do is visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or if you can't make it there, order online. They ship anywhere. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
I love Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Woodward Sports Network. If you can't watch live, download the show anywhere podcasts are found. Woodwardsports.com has the latest news, articles, updates, show clips, and merchandise. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch, we got JB in the house. Hopefully everybody's doing pretty well on this Wednesday. Now tomorrow, if you're local here in the Metro Detroit area, I think we're going to start coming out of it a little bit of this crappy weather. It's been pretty crappy.
I feel bad for the kids that are playing baseball and softball.
I know, I always do.
Everything is rained out. They're cold. They're playing in mud.
I know.
Really, they should, honestly, the high school sports are suffering with our crap weather.
No doubt.
Move baseball and softball to the fall. Let them play against freaking football. It's not fair.
You're 1,000% right. Running track
might not be a bad idea.
It's not fair. It should be fall ball.
Because now, to be honest with you, now you have all these one sport people anyway.
Yep.
Nobody plays two sports anymore. That's not a bad idea, man.
They should, for sure, play softball and baseball in the fall.
In terms of this weather, I freaking hated it when I was in high school and when I was in middle school because I ran track. Track season outdoors starts in March.
Yep.
You know what March looks like in Detroit?
Yeah.
So imagine doing a track meet with tights and shorts on, and I'm running at 9 in the morning. My 100 prelim starts when it's 28 degrees outside. I freaking hated running track in Detroit.
That is a genius idea.
I've been saying it for a long time, right? Because at St. Joan, you coach the girls. And everything. Half the games are rained out. You got to play double headers in the rain. It's cold. It's terrible. No one wants to sit through that, and it's not fair to the kids.
Wow, my mind is blown. My mind is blown.
Thank you.
Can we get
this is crap weather.
Fletch, can I get a poll up? Can I get a poll up?
So you start basketball maybe a little later then?
Yeah.
Start basketball.
Basketball's indoors, man.
Exactly. Start basketball maybe January.
Absolutely.
In Michigan,
change it.
Should baseball, softball be moved to the fall?
And track.
Because of the weather.
And track, really. Because you can start track practice in the summer. And then as soon as the season starts, like, it's still warm outside.
What they do in football.
100%.
Wow, that is a genius idea.
Thank you.
Or start track
very
later.
good.
I like that idea.
Guys, yesterday it was announced the college football playoff dates. Of course, the college football playoff has expanded in 2024, so this will be the final year of the votes of the what do they call them?
The college football
the top four
the committee.
The committee. The college football playoff committee.
There you go.
That's right. This will be the last year of that in 2024. The dates are announced. So in 2024, there will be a triple header on January 1st. The semifinals, January 9th and 10th, which is a Thursday, Friday. The national championship, again, is on a Monday. I can't figure it out, gang.
Look how late it is.
And that doesn't bother me as much, the national championship game being played on
20th?
Monday the 20th, January 21st in 24 and 25. But why can't...
That's the first round of the NFL playoffs, like the second round of the NFL playoffs.
Why can't you play Friday, January 10th, and then Saturday, January 18th?
If Michigan isn't in it, it doesn't matter to you anyway. You ain't watching.
But that's why I'm not
Right.
watching. I'm not watching on a Monday night. I didn't even realize the game was even on at 7:30. They moved the time up this year.
Yeah, by the time it was the
I
first
turned
quarter,
it on at 8 o'clock the first quarter, midway through.
they were down 40. Yo, January 20th is when the national championship game is. Do you know it was a little January 20th when I was in college? It was the second week of winter conditioning.
Yeah.
Second week of winter conditioning. National championship had been over. That's crazy.
I just, am I crazy? Am I that far off base? Why can't you play? The NFL.
Leave Mondays alone.
The NFL plays most of their games on a Sunday, correct? When is their championship game?
You keep using this argument. I get it. You don't like the fact that it's on Monday. I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. Is it partially your schedule too? Because you have to get up at 4 in the morning?
No, I don't care. I just think it's a bigger party if you have it on a Saturday. Play college football when the games are actually played.
But here's the thing.
There's no other time that a college football game is played on a Monday.
Let me cut you off. Because at the time you're playing now, the NFL owns Saturday and Sunday. They own it in January.
What can you not work something out where you could do a triple header Saturday where the NFL does 1 and 4:30 and then you have a national championship game at 8?
You know what the NFL's going to tell you? They're going to flip you off. What are you kidding? They're going to play at 6 and 9. Never mind 1 and 4. Those days are over.
Not to mention, I don't even think the energy would be there. I just think it works perfect on Monday for me. I don't know.
Very good.
I'm just
the NFL's not playing on Monday at that time, buddy.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Go screw yourself.
We upset you.
Go screw
Why
yourself.
you mad
at us? Upset you?
I'm mad at you guys.
Okay, let's say you watch your game on Saturday night. Who's coming over to hang out? Like it's not
Who's not?
Because if your team's not in it,
not coming over to watch it on a
First of all,
Saturday night.
TCU and Georgia were in it last year. It doesn't matter who was playing in it. You weren't gonna have people over and come over and watch the TCU Georgia game. So it really doesn't matter. College football is different than NFL. NFL, it doesn't matter who's in the Super Bowl. You can have a Super Bowl party. In college football, you're like, depends on who's in it. So it really doesn't matter.
You're not. But a lot of times, remember in your 20s and 30s specifically,
which you are not anymore.
Right. But you were just looking for something to do on, like looking for any reason to go out. Oh, the Pistons are playing a playoff game on a Tuesday. Let me go to the bar or something like that and watch. You know what I mean?
Okay,
you're just looking for any reason to get up and get out of the house. Nobody's doing that on a Monday. I don't know. I don't care. Screw you both.
It gives us something to talk about on Monday.
Yeah, very good.
Into Tuesday. It kills 2 days.
Guys,
stay with the college for a minute because I want to show you guys something.
Okay, you tell me.
All right? I want to go back to the NFL draft here, Fletch. Alabama and Georgia and Michigan sent 29 players to the NFL, and TCU, 1 player behind Michigan for going to the draft. I mean, that's the big boys now.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, you look at Georgia and Alabama every year. What are we talking about? Why are they at the top of the mountain every year? Because they have the most 5-star athletes. They have the most 5-star recruits. So those are the guys that are winning the national championships. Who wants 5-star recruits out of Georgia and Alabama? The NFL does. You look at Michigan being up there. Michigan has completely changed what they used to be when Jim Harbaugh first started. They would have 5 stars or they would have 4 stars that didn't develop from year 1 to year 4 or year 2 to year 5. Now they're developing players. So Georgia and Alabama more so developing, but they're getting 5 stars that are kind of ready off jump. Michigan are getting 3 and 4, and they're developing they're developing those players over 4 years. And by the time their 4 or 5 years is up, guys are getting drafted. May not always be first, but you're getting a lot of guys drafted within that 3rd to 5 rounds out of Michigan. That's why.
If you look at the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft this year, there were only 2 players that were outside of a Power 5 conference team.
Yeah.
Only 2. Wow. And now I'm including Notre Dame in a Power 5 conference,
they
right?
count. They were in.
But only 2 players taken. I think there was a player from North Dakota State, and there was a player from SMU.
With no teeth.
And there was a player from SMU. Other than that, the first 63 players taken were all Power 5 conference guys. I think that goes to show you, too, where college football is kind of going back to being this club of Power 5, and then there's everybody else as well when it comes to top 10, top 25 teams.
Now you see why when you're asking about Cincinnati, and I was talking about Cincinnati getting into it, adding more teams, etc. Now you see why. It's an elite club, and it should be an elite club.
And here it is by conference, too. Check these out. This is the draft by conference, and it really breaks it down for you. pretty simple.
The
deal.
SEC, 62 players. In the Big
There you
Ten,
go.
55 players. That's
Look
a
at that.
really big deal. And then there's a huge drop-off. And we've talked about this with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC in 2024 and USC and UCLA coming in 2024 to the Big Ten. Those two conferences specifically are not done adding teams yet. They will be the two preeminent conferences in all of college football, and they already are, as evidenced by the amount of talent they send to the NFL.
Yeah, and that's why I hate when you get an analyst talking about conferences. There are only two conferences. I don't want to hear anything about the ACC. I don't want to hear anything about the Big 12. Pac-12 had a good season last year, but it's Big 10 and ACC. And just like you said, Ryan, it's only going to become just those two in a year and a half.
And the Division II sent 12 guys to the NFL, which is a lot more than the lesser conferences. I got to give them hats off to them.
Without question. The Tigers just tied it up.
How about that?
How about that? In the bottom of the 8th inning, Eric Haas with a 3-run homer in the first inning. Actually, excuse me, Eric Haas just puts the Tigers on top with a 2-run
There you
single in the
go.
bottom of the 8th.
A 5 RBI day.
5
for
RBIs.
I told you they were still fighting. Still fighting.
Max Scherzer goes tonight.
Yes.
Justin Verlander goes tomorrow.
Can I say something about Scherzer and
Scherlander.
And more so about Verlander than
Verzinger.
anything else. Actually, let's take a break and talk about this next.
Yeah.
I want to talk. We'll take a break right here.
Verzinger or Scherlander?
Both. Verlander said something yesterday that kind of made me feel like he wasn't one of us, and it disappointed me. Talk about it next, but first a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
Cousins Maine Lobster, 2 food trucks rolling around the city of Detroit. You want to know where they are. I'm telling you right now, so click on that QR code, or you just want to go to their website, cousinsmainelobster.com. cousinsmainelobster.com, and that QR code will take you right to their website. You can download their schedule, and you can see where their trucks are. And if you order ahead and go pick up your food like Lindsay Hunter does here, you can start getting points and start saving money. They are the best lobster, the best seafood around. You think you're on the Eastern Seaboard, but you're right here in Detroit, USA. Check them out, cousinsmainelobster.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
I mean, yeah, it was one hell of a run. You know, from like the Cinderella story of 2006, you know, through the, you know, really just year in and year out, the team was a juggernaut and going deep in the playoffs every year. And you know, Mr. I was doing anything he could to put an unbelievable product on the field. I mean, what a time to be not only a player for the Tigers organization, but a fan. You know, it was just you know, you said the glory days. It was, it felt like that as a player too. I mean, it was just so fun to be part of it.
Does it kind of shock you how, I guess, down they've been since you left? I mean, you left in 2017, and they started trading away guys and haven't made the playoffs since you were on that 14 team.
I don't know, man. It doesn't surprise me. No, I mean, I think everybody kind of saw it coming as pieces started to be traded away. You know, I'm always rooting for the best for the organization, though, and you know, it seems like they're bringing in some pieces to start turning things around.
So that was Justin Verlander yesterday. Where did we get that video, Maz?
Everybody had
it. All right.
Yeah, Ben Verlander I used it from, but everyone had it.
Okay. So yesterday he was also asked by Jeff Rieger if he is going to go into the Hall of Fame as a Detroit Tiger. Now, I think it is up to the Hall of Fame which hat goes on. I don't think the players have any say in that anymore after Wade Boggs went in as a Devil Ray. I think.
Devil Ray?
No, he didn't go in as a Devil Ray.
Didn't they pay him $1 million to go in as a Devil Ray or something like that?
He's a Red Sox.
I thought he went in as a Yankee.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I think
JB, that's all you now. Find out. Wade Boggs.
Either way, I think the Hall of Fame has that task. But he was like, "Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I don't want to answer that question. I don't know. I don't got a long way to go yet." And I was kind of like, "That's a terrible answer." He spent 12, 13 years here. But he won 2 World Series with Houston. I mean, I get it, but I want him to embrace Detroit more, and I feel like that hasn't been the case. Maybe I'm the wuss over here. I don't know.
You're being a wuss, and I'm actually ask Fletch too, because I know Fletch loves Verlander and Mickey and that whole era and blah blah blah. But you've been a little bit of that because you want him to want what you want. And at the end of the day, he loves the Detroit Tigers. When he came here, what was that, 3 years ago? He was crying when they put his whole highlights on the board.
He's a Tiger.
And they showed he loves the Tigers. He cried. He was emotional. It was a whole deal. It was dope, right? Cool. Ever since then, he's back with the Houston Astros. 2 World Series. He's had another no-hitter down there. He's had another 21-win season. Like, he's won. Like, when you win at a place, it's different than being 12 years as a Detroit Tiger where you did not win, whether you got there once and did not win it, or twice, and did not win it. I forgot about the Giants. And then going and winning it twice, whether one was asterisk or not, you won it twice, finally got your win this past season, So I think for them, he's in the mindset like it's over with the Tigers.
No, he's going in as a Tiger.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be up to the Hall of Fame because now it's Tigers 13 years, Astros 4 years, Mets 2 years,
Right.
Astros
Yankees, Astros 4 years, right?
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's 5.
Okay, so 4.5 years. 4.5 years.
Okay,
Or either way, whatever.
We traded him at the half.
Oh, true.
But there's no player that ever went into the Hall of Fame after playing just 4 years, right? I mean, it's an entire body of work, and part of that longevity of the career is a 12, 13-year stretch in Detroit.
True, I get that, but sometimes it's not. But it's where you have the success. Look at Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan had all his success with the Angels. Like, he had the bulk of his success with the Angels. You look at his best careers.
I didn't realize that. I'd have to look that
up. The Mets drafted him, you know.
The Mets, he won the World Series.
He won a World Series at 69.
But the best success that he had.
69, yeah.
Exactly, the Astros, the best success he had was the Angels. Shoot, I played 5 years with the Cleveland Browns. You don't hear me bring them up one time. I only played 2 years with the New York Jets. But in those 2 years, I went to back-to-back AFC championships. So I think about the winning. I think about where I had the most fun. I think about where it's the easiest.
JB, where did Wade Boggs? What did he go in as?
He went in as a Boston Red Sox.
I told you Red Sox.
Right.
Yes. Let's go, JB. Let's go, JB.
Hold on.
And deservedly so.
Talk amongst yourselves.
And deservedly
Talk
so.
amongst yourselves.
We will. We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Red Sox, but he gave respect to New York as he did play for the Yankees as well too.
Won a World Series.
The owner wanted him to go down as a Devil Ray, but he did not. He chose to go with the Boston Red Sox.
Hey, man, how about that? Brother just pulled out Wade Boggs, Boston Red Sox,
Attaboy.
Hall of Fame out his ass. That's what I'm talking about.
Attaboy.
Okay.
What was his favorite? What was his favorite pregame meal?
Pumpkin seeds.
Fried chicken.
Okay, Wade Boggs was a Devil Ray for the final 2 seasons of his career. For the final 2 seasons of his 18-year Hall of Fame career. Ever heard the story about how Wade Boggs wanted to go in the Hall of Fame as a Tampa Bay Devil Ray because the team's owner offered him $1 million? It's a myth, Boggs told the fan in New York. This was never, ever a subject. The Hall of Fame third baseman said, "How did this rumor even get started?"
That's how you protect your homie, though. Say, what?
That's great.
That's how you protect your homie.
That is great.
In that 12-year career with the Detroit Tigers, he made 6 All-Star games. In 4 years, Ryan, with the Houston Astros, he made 3. He started doing it by ratio and math. I get it.
No,
I get it.
He's a Tiger.
You want him to be a Tiger. Apparently not the core.
Look,
he will be a Tiger.
Yes, I agree with that, but that's not even the point, right? The point is, like, his...
he didn't look like he was paying attention to what the Tigers were doing.
Yeah, and I don't know.
But they stink.
No. I don't care about that. I'm talking about that's a tough one kind of thing. It almost felt like too PC. Like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Max Scherzer? Max Scherzer don't get any love.
The question was a BS question.
Yeah. Listen, Max Scherzer.
It's a great question.
Rieger set him up with the question.
That's a great question.
Why ask him that right now?
Oh, because I don't think there would have been any question.
When's he coming back?
Who?
He might.
Verlander.
He might
He
never
coming back
play
to the
here
Tigers?
again.
That's what I mean. He might
No,
never come back
he
and play.
never
So
pitch
the
again
question
in
was good.
Detroit.
Okay, when he's
Yeah.
coming back to the Tigers, I asked that question.
Yeah.
But then if he give you this answer, now you got guys like you like, oh my God, he should have said
Well,
this.
I'm actually surprised by the answer. I am. I thought he was saying there's no doubt. I mean, I had the long. I won't ever play in Major League Baseball for a team as long as I played in Detroit. I had
Ryan. Winning championships at the highest level, it changes your mind about things. He had all those great years, great in quotation, great years with the Detroit Tigers. But when he got to the Astros, he won a World Series.
I believe
then
you.
he came back and won a World Series the honest way, so we think. And he won a game in that World Series.
I believe you.
First time he won a game in a World Series, correct?
I believe you.
It changes the mindset a little bit.
I believe you.
I think the people that hate Max Scherzer here in Detroit ought to check themselves, because this guy, you shouldn't hate this guy. Right. This guy was a bulldog, and he really, out of the two of them, Verlander and Scherzer had more good things to say about being a Tiger and how much he loved Jim Leland. And he's going tonight. So if you're going down to Comerica tonight, you get a chance to, to boo Max Scherzer again, because he never got that opening day start. It always went to JV. So they underappreciated Max Scherzer, and here they are, both still playing, which sticks in my craw, because they both should still be playing here in Detroit, and we never should have ripped this team apart. Never. They should have just built around these guys. I don't want to hear that they offered a great deal to Scherzer. Believe me, the deal the Nationals gave him dwarfed the deal that the Tigers gave him. They just showed him, listen, we're a Verlander guys. We're Verlander guys. And they just kept putting it in his face. Damn it. The Tigers should still be on top. Instead, we're not going to see a win here probably for at least 3-4 more years.
Newsflash, Max. Nobody likes Max Scherzer except the team that he plays for. Nobody does, although he's a damn good pitcher.
Max Scherzer is a great reminder, though, too, to a lot of people out there. I mean, Max Scherzer was sent down to the minors by Jim Leland. You know, people forget about that. He was sent to Toledo. And instead of taking that with his friggin' head down, he went down there, he fixed what he had to fix, and he turned into a Hall of Famer, one of the highest paid players in Major League Baseball history.
Bought everyone steak dinners down there in the minors as well, and everyone got, I forgot what he gave, like an iPhone or some iPad or something like that.
Some players just love the sport they play. Like Max Scherzer has gone down to all the pitchers do that when they come off injury, would have to go down for a little bit. He's done that recently. He goes down there and he loves to go ahead, Ryan.
Tigers win 6-5. They get the opener against the New York Mets. They win at 6-5. How about that? Eric Haas, 5 RBIs in the game of the Tigers.
That's a bad loss for the Mets.
That's a real bad loss for the Metropolitans.
Wow.
Absolutely.
See if they get even tonight.
Tigers, what, 2-1 in their last 3 games?
Look at that.
Look at that.
A little short winning streak or short inning.
How about the Mets' luck in the last 5 days?
Keep me interested, man.
The Mets have been rained out 4 times out of the last 5 days.
Since we're talking about baseball, why don't we bring up your squad?
The Yankees? They suck.
No, I'm talking about your real squad. The Devil Rays.
Oh, I love those Rays.
20. What are they? 26 and
24 and 6.
24 and 6. 24 and 6. And you know what the funny thing about that is?
900 people go to those games.
People look at the Rays.
God, I wish I could be there.
People look at the Rays, though, and it 24 and 6. Doesn't it make you just aren't you in awe of the Tigers' 35 and 5 start?
Yeah.
When you see how great this start is for the Rays. I mean, the Tigers started 35 and 5 in 1984.
They're comparing it to the 84 Tigers now on MLB Network.
That is incredible. Now, the rest of the year, they went 500 after that first 40 games.
Yeah.
But they had such a huge lead. It was like
this team
we'll just chill.
Yeah, right.
This team wins all their trades, wins them all.
They win.
They know how to trade a guy at his peak every time, and they are unbelievably good.
I crack jokes about them winning into the playoffs, and then what'd you tell me? They got to the dance. Was it 3 years ago, and they lost
to the Dodgers.
Exactly.
In 7.
But you got to win it all, man.
Should have won that. Kevin Cash pulled Brad Snell out too
Mookie Betts,
early.
baby.
Guys, I want to talk a little NBA, NHL next, including LeBron v. Steph last night.
LeBron.
Maz said it. Look out for the Panthers. We'll talk about it. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, it's a great time to join Planet Fitness because now through May 10th, You can find your big fitness energy by joining Planet Fitness and their special offer of $1 down and only $10 a month. $10 a month, you guys? $10?
Only $10?
Only $10.
All right, there we
and
go.
$1 down.
And $1 down. Only $10 a month. The Planet Fitness is cleaner than ever with tons of equipment, a full body workout in the 30-minute circuit, plus all memberships include fitness training. Your fitness is essential and a key part of your physical and mental well-being. So waste no time and join Planet Fitness today in club, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Welcome back to the final segment. Ermanni and Edwards
Got
with
his glasses
Matt.
on
I
again.
had to put the shades back on, man, and send a shout out to my boy Jeff. Jeff, appreciate the glasses you and Taryn picked out. I like them a lot, so I had to put them on one last time so Jeff and Taryn can see what they purchased. Maz, there were some NBA games last night, man.
You know, they certainly were. My Knicks were trying to give it away without Jimmy playoffs. Is that what you call him?
Oh, Jimmy Buckets. Baby.
Jimmy Buckets? Jimmy playoffs?
Playoff Jimmy or
playoff
Jimmy Buckets?
Jimmy. There you go. Well, he was sitting on the sideline. The Knicks finally finished off the Miami Heat. They're tied at 1. So game 2 was last night.
Right.
Guess when game 3 is?
I know when it is, but
Saturday?
it's just disgusting.
Saturday.
Disgusting.
That's disgusting.
It works out for Jimmy Butler.
I guess it does.
To get back. Yeah, last night that game, didn't really like it from the Knicks standpoint because I picked the Knicks to win this series. But if you look at how close the Miami Heat were last night, like 75% of the Heat's points were scored by undrafted players. Meanwhile, you got Brunson, who makes what?
Yeah.
Julius Randle, who makes what? R.J. Barrett, who makes what?
Duncan Robinson even had a couple of big threes.
Oh, Duncan's getting paid.
It was amazing to see. I wish Jimmy Butler was playing, but
if he was, they probably would have lost that damn game, the Knicks. So anyway, they go to Miami tied 1-up, and then the nightcap was the game everyone was waiting for. Golden State and the Lakers. Golden State had an early lead, but the Lake Show took them down. And I'll tell you what, I'm not letting the ball out of Steph's hands at the end of games.
Did you see how they defended Steph Curry last night?
They suffocated him.
That was so impressive. Shout out to Darvin Ham, first-year head coach, who had a plan. I don't care who is going to beat me. It's not going to be that guy.
So what I noticed about that game yesterday, you watched AD. AD played 44 minutes.
Played
LeBron
amazing.
James played 40 minutes. That's not happening again. Those Joker's legs are going to be so tired today. That's not sustainable. You saw in the first half when AD was 9 of 10.
He had 30 and 23 boards.
But AD was 9 of 10 in the first half. He was 2 of 9 in the second half. He got tired. He got tired in that game. I think you look at what happens in game 2. Well, all his even games, I think he's averaging 13 points and 8 rebounds in all the even games. So 2, 4, and 6 in the. Go ahead.
But Bray, freaking game 1 on Tuesday, game 2 on Saturday.
No. There's no more basketball this week?
No, game 3. Darn it, I missed a game.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I missed it. That's
game
my
2
bad.
has to be Thursday.
Game 2 is Thursday. Game 2 is Thursday.
Game two.
My bad. But they did what they had to do. They got one.
But they got one. But the Warriors are operate in the moment. The Warriors like, cool, let's see what you got, see what your game plan is. AD played phenomenal for them in that paint, and they still barely won. Steph and the Warriors are going to figure it out. Don't you worry.
I mean, the Lakers could win the first 3 games of the series, and I'd still put money. I'd put money on Golden State.
I wouldn't have let them get out to a lead like they did the Kings. I would have let these guys get out to a lead.
I wouldn't do it.
As it relates to that shot at the end of the game, though, it was the right shot by the right player at the right time. He just could have stepped up a little bit.
I totally agree with that. That's
shot.
how he plays.
He just had 6 threes. You're talking about Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Everybody was mad at Jordan Poole.
I'm just mad that Steph didn't get a chance. That's all.
What was he going to do?
He had a chance about 20 seconds earlier.
That was actually brilliant defense.
It was brilliant defense.
Brilliant.
If you want to blame Jordan Poole and Draymond for something, it's how slow they got up the court. But other than that, it was the right pass.
Okay.
Draymond found Jordan Poole, and these are shots that the Warriors take. So that was a good look. He just missed.
Well, tonight you got the Sixers up 1-0. They play the Celtics. Guys, I want to show you a stat here. Let me show you a stat.
Give me this.
Let me show you some stats.
This is the first time in NBA history that all 8 seeds, the numbers 1 through 8, have made it through the first round.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. There's
Isn't
a
that
1,
something?
there's a 2, there's a 3.
There's a number representing each number. I just thought it was pretty cool.
It is. NBA has a lot of parity right now. You're looking at a lot of players that are in these starting lineups or on these teams that are adding value that aren't drafted. Says a lot about where the NBA is. Says a lot about where college basketball is.
And Joel Embiid got his due last night. Named the NBA MVP, and one guy didn't get a vote.
LBJ.
LeBron James did not garner a vote last night.
I like that word, garner.
It's the first time in his career, including his rookie year. It's the first time he didn't get at least 1 vote. Yeah, the MVP. The one thing that bothers me, though, is how did Jokic only get 13 votes? Like, it was, I wanted him.
It was predetermined that Joel Embiid, and they were lobbying for him.
I understand that, but
like
you
a
know,
Heisman campaign.
But you can't have the guy that's leading the number 1 seed in the West. He's averaging a triple-double. Like, he plays more games than everybody else. You can't tell me Joel Embiid wins 75 to 13. Now, if you tell me he wins a little closer than that, that's fine. This was more so, we don't want Jokic to win the award more than we want Embiid to win it. That's what I don't like.
I'm kind of rooting for Denver to win the NBA championship this year because they've been a really good team for a long time with Jokic. Or Jokic, however you say it. And their head coach, Mike Malone, he's the son of the Brendans. Sir Malone. For you young kids out there, when the Pistons won back-to-back championships with the Bad Boys, Ken Calvert was the public address announcer at the time, and he was Chuck Daly is the head coach, the assistants, the Brendans, Sir and Malone.
He was good.
So great.
And he was the Joe Dumars guy.
Yep,
KC.
Joe Dumars. Very good. Give me a quick thought on the Florida Panthers.
Oh, Panthers beat the Leafs last night at their own game. They are a tough team. I think they might win the Stanley Cup. I think they might win the freaking Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers.
Write that down.
Write that down right now.
I'm with it. I mean, sometimes
good drip.
When I appreciate that, brother. Sometimes when the pressure and the lights are too much, you can't perform. Last year, they won the cup. They had all the pressure on them, and they couldn't get out the first round. Now they don't have that pressure, and they're still that same damn good team. Sometimes you got to fly under the radar.
Hey, Kraken beat the Stars in overtime. I stayed up to 1:15 in the morning to watch that. Got the Devils and the Canes tonight, and the Oilers and the Knights. 2 game ones.
Ooh,
there it is.
All right, go Oilers. Guys, great show. Get us out of here. Braylon Edwards.
Playoff basketball, playoff hockey is on tonight. Tune in. Shout out to my boy Brad Holmes for the drip. You see what time it is. And go Tigers. Tigers get them a win 6-5. Javi Baez and Haas both get home runs. For my man JB. Fletch, your Tigers got to win, man. The Tigers got to win. Uncle Matt on the couch. And you see my boy in the back. Follow us on all social media at Woodward Sports. You see what it is. Twitter, TikTok, as well as Instagram, Facebook, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan and Ermanni, we are out of here.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.